We're going live. We are live, everybody. Welcome to a comic book look, aka Comics Live, depending on who you talk to. Of Sam, who's a bit caught off guard on his second stream, or Sam on his what stream do you think this is for me?
Man, you're close
12?
to like 50.
We'll say 20. Make it round number.
20? Cool.
But yeah, hope we're having a good time. For the people who are just joining us or who will soon to be joining us. But first, we have a minute to win it, everybody. And since Mark had actually requested it previously, I'll do mine. And it's of my parkour days. I think every young 18 to 22-year-old saw a cool backflip and thought, I could do that. The problem is that I actually felt like I could act upon it. I definitely couldn't. I had a bunch of friends. I had a whole squad of people. We were stereotypically called the Wolf Pack. Yeah, that was us. And I was clearly the worst one. Clearly, night as day. And everybody's doing these cool backflips, things like palm flips off things, things that almost look like they're defying gravity, and I can barely get off a front flip without landing on my head. And eventually, when I realized I should probably stop doing this, I was in a gymnastics gymnasium, and I was getting really pumped up. You ever had when you're surrounded by people who think you've got this, 100%, you start believing it. And we moved away from the foam pit to just the floor. It's I can do this backflip, I can nail it. I go up.
Is this like a pep rally?
But no, it's just the crew of people I was with.
Okay.
They're all you have this, you believe in you. It's okay, I just met two of you today, so all right, I totally believe in you guys. I go in to the thing, and you're supposed to keep your knees in, otherwise you're gonna flop.
Yeah,
definitely didn't do that. So I completely do the most. Probably the most slow and arduous backflip you're going to find. And I land square on the top of my head on a gymnasium that is padded, but not by a lot. And I'm not trying to harsh the mellow of everybody else trying to be there, because we've only been there for 20 minutes. I go let's go back to the foam pit. Clearly concussed.
Yeah.
And later on, I asked somebody, hey guys, how did I get home? I don't recall how I got home that day. Someone must have drove me home, but I don't remember it. And yeah. I think that was the day I realized maybe I shouldn't be doing this as much anymore. I don't got what it takes. And so yeah, that's kind of the long and short of it, I would say. Hardcore parkour. If anybody remembers that movie Tracers with Taylor Lautner, that's what I tried to be. I failed.
Wasn't that the guy from the Twilight movies?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
That was one of his one few movies he did where it was not Twilight.
Okay.
So, all right, but I have a question for you, Mr. Mark.
Yeah, man.
Before we get into it, first off, Happy New Year's to everybody. Hope you had a fantastic one. Hopefully, if you got resolutions, you believe in that. Hopefully, if you go through with them and stay strong on that. Mark, do you have any? If you believe in that?
I lean more on, and everybody's different. And I'm not trying to be overly deep, but I'm life changes and improving your life should be a year-round process, lifetime process, not just a year-round process. It's not just something I dedicate to one day. So. I do like to kind of just reflect on what didn't work in the previous year and try not to do that again. But as far as resolutions, it's not really my thing. I know other people like to do that, though.
You know what, Mark? First off, 100% agree. You can always make your life better no matter what time it is. If it's in the deep of October, if it's as early as January, no matter what, it's an amazing thing to do. Do you know what is also amazing, though? That I completely forgotten? The intro. So let's do that.
Run it.
A Comic Book Look, your weekly TV show on comic book culture.
That will forever be amazing.
Absolutely.
So I guess for me, I definitely like kind of believe in it a little bit with those. It's just a good jumping off point. Just like, you know what? Maybe this is the time. But it definitely is one where it's like you can make your life better no matter what.
No,
You don't have to wait till you're like hungover the next day after like maybe I shouldn't have done that for you to make a conclusion. But overall, 2024 was a really fun year for comics. What did you think?
I thought it was a great year.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I had a lot of good stuff came out of the big two, I think. I think it was a great year for like indie books. And it was like a kind of a big year for like I personally saw a lot of like people of like a lot of like top talent kind of like going into the indie scene and like kind of being like having like a resurgence of like what was going on in the 90s where like Jim Lee would just like make something and everybody would jump at it or like McFarlane. I kind of saw a slight resurgence of that and I thought that was kind of cool to see.
Oh yeah. Kind of liked too how DC did the All In. I kind of wanted to get back into a lot of DC books, and I also kind of reconnected with Marvel because of the
Blood Hunt?
The X-Men '97 cartoon. Kind of made me want to get back into X-Men comics. So I had to chop some of my indie titles to trade because I wanted to get back into that.
That's the problem. Like, there's like unless you have like a bag of money that just never ends, like you kind of have to pick and choose and. Yeah. Especially for me right now, because DC's putting out all these like books that they would never publish otherwise. Like they're making a question book right now.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to read that, but I'm like, okay, you already got way too many books right now, man.
It's like every superhero is in the Justice League now, so they're
it's fun. It's a lot of fun right now.
Oh yeah.
So what we're doing today, though, ladies and gentlemen, what we're doing today is a big thing, huge thing. You could even say we are doing top covers of 2024 and we have 3 each and we're here to showcase them out and show all the wonderful people here what we thought was the best. We would have John and Tom here, but they had other prior engagements, so it is just going to be us today. This is Sam's full on like hosting duties and streaming duties, so we're plugging away. Hopefully we're doing good.
Do you want to count them down from like 3 down to 1 being your best, 3 being the?
I think we got to end at number 1. I think that's like if we're gonna go like by the like escalating tensions. I think that's more fun.
Yeah.
So let's do Mark. Why don't you go first?
Oh man, it was a tough decision, but I've narrowed it down to these 3. I guess number 3 here. Go with Amazing Spider-Man 61. I just really love Doom. I love how he's just like over New York right here and Spider-Man just swinging in. Of course, I don't know if you're following that 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is Doom's new champion. Is Doom's the Sorcerer Supreme. He took over the Sorcerer Supreme. He like cheated Doctor Strange out of it. So, and he's chosen Spider-Man as his new champion. But I really love that cover right there, though. I just thought that was
that's a homage. I've seen that. Yes, it is. If you it's a variation on the Iron Man 2020.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like that's Iron Man 2020 is like coming for you, Spider-Man, in there, and that's. I was trying to think, why have I seen that? That's a cool cover, though, man. I like that. Who does the art on that?
Oh, it might be McGinnis. When you say Iron Man 2020, was that the one that came out like a long time ago, but it was set in 2020, or did it come out in 2020?
It was the 80s one that it was like future Iron Man.
Yeah.
Tell you what, if you can like entertain the stream for a minute, I can grab it.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
I
was trying to find out who that artist is, but I'm not 100%. But
be right back.
EMG Zeki. I'm not 100% who that was. But anyways, hopefully Sam will be back soon. Other than that, I wish I knew how to check comments, and I would totally do that right now if anybody is commenting, but not able to do that. But I do appreciate y'all watching. When Sam gets back, hopefully he can check those comments, though, and let us know what your favorite covers were of I was able to make the show where we did the best of 2024, like artist and writer and all, but I did drop a post in the Comic Book Look Facebook of my picks for that.
That's awesome, man. I got to go back and read that. Tell me, I got to go back and look at that.
I was gonna say too, don't forget to check comments if you're able to.
I think I am.
Okay.
I just none have shown up yet.
Oh, okay.
But to that one person watching,
We're not John and
we
Tom.
appreciate that. Yeah, I do have it though. It's this.
Oh, very cool. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I think I bought this like. Oh no, I think I bought this about 7 or so years ago.
Okay.
And kind of really crazy. It's been 7 years since I've had this, but I bought this going like, oh, that's a really sick cover. What Iron Man was just in movies recently. And I'm like, who's Arno Stark?
Wasn't he like the android or?
Well, he was he's like the future like descendant of Tony,
Okay,
who inherits the company after he is not Iron Man anymore, and he's Iron Man instead.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a really nice cover, man. Was it McGinnis who did the cover?
Couldn't tell. It was OMG Ezeki. I couldn't tell. Maybe it's at the back of the book. They might.
Don't you hate that when like the credits are like not easy to find?
Yeah, it is.
Like, I want to credit you. Let me help you.
Maybe Marcio Meniz. Maybe. I'm not 100%.
Well, to whoever that is, you did a fantastic job on that cover.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. That is pretty sick. I haven't been reading the newest Spider-Man because I kind of forgot. I didn't realize the Zeb Wells run had finished.
Yeah.
I wasn't vibing 100% with that run. You know, like no like harshness to Zeb Wells' stuff. Just wasn't feeling it as much. I think Dark Web was where I kind of ended it.
Yeah.
And I just forgot that I didn't realize he was off the book. And then I was like, oh, I got to catch up on Spider-Man then.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't read the new stuff yet.
Blood Hunt.
Okay. Who's the new author on it?
Joe Kelly, but I believe somebody else is going to be writing it. It's going to renumber at a number 1, I think, going into March, and I'm not for sure who the new writer will be. It might even still be Joe Kelly, but I do know it is supposed to be renumbering.
Joe Kelly did the Deadpool run in the 90s, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that might be a fun book then. Hell yeah. All right. So now I got to do my first book here, and you know what? We're gonna go with this one. My first cover of the year is gonna be this one right here. I'll take it out of the bag so it's not tiny. Wow. It's gonna be Action Comics right here. This is 168.
Was that a variant?
I think it might be a variant.
Looks good.
Yeah, I just love that it's like the old, like if you can like find a way to encapsulate the 1930s-esque style of Superman, where he's like chasing down locomotives and like saving like and he's like saving kids on railroad tracks and stuff. That I love that when you can do that well. And this comic cover just does a really good job with that. And it's just him going from like taking all of it off, and like you can feel like he's doing this in like a millisecond, and that's pretty cool. I really dig that. Like slowly but surely, even with like I was doing this on a previous stream, Mark, where I was talking about how I started reading comics in the set that I was going to read Batman and Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just slowly made the full tilt to being a Superman guy.
Oh yeah.
I like just can't stop reading him now. I love it.
I've been reading the current Joshua Williamson Superman. I like it better than Action. It's really good right now.
Yeah, like and the thing is they keep just giving me more. They're just like, you want Action Comics came out again, you want to read it again? I'm like, yeah, yes I do. Okay. Yeah, it's like a weekly book that's dropping, and like I haven't read the Superwoman special yet, the Lois Lane one.
Yeah.
I don't know how she got her powers yet, but she's got them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Superman.
Action did stop releasing weekly though. Now finally they got the Phantom Zone all resolved now. So it's back to I don't know if it's bi-weekly or if it's just going to be weekly now, or bi-monthly or just monthly now. I'm not for sure. Well,
that's a darn right bummer.
Well, it's hard to keep up with coming out every week.
I suppose that is true. I do go like, how many of these things are they coming out with? I'm just excited like for that movie's coming out. Superman is like more popping than ever right now, and I love that. Like
that trailer was phenomenal.
Oh, it was. Can't believe that like Crypto's in it, and he's just like, it's just Crypto. He's here now too. It's like Usually there would have to be like a huge explanation why there's a dog that's also got the powers, but they're like, no, Crypto's just also here.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to see.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. What's your next book there, Mr. Mock?
Oh, I think we'll go for number 2. Of course, I got back into X-Men this year, but we'll go with this double page right. This was X-Men 700. I jumped back in here. I kind of jumped off with the Krakoa.
Yeah, you did. I remember that.
Yeah, but I just thought that was really cool. It was X-Men 700, and just really got all the X-Men right there on the cover. Just thought it was beautiful, and just really displays who they are. Not a variant cover either. That was the main cover. But I kind of checked out during the Krakoa stuff because it was just a lot going on. There's still a lot going on in X-Men, meaning like there's multiple books that you have to get. I don't think there's quite as much, though. I think whenever I was doing the Krakoa stuff, what kind of the nail in the coffin for me was Ten of Swords. It was like 20 books, and I got behind on that. And
that was the halfway mark, too.
Catch up on it. What's that?
That was the halfway mark of that stuff, too.
Yeah.
But that's okay, man. Like that's like X-Men was ridiculous for a while there. Like, you couldn't escape X-Men. And you know what? If you're a fan, awesome. You probably loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was an outsider of it, too. Like, I was just kind of enjoying the idea of, like, X-Men finally getting what they wanted. Yeah. And, like, what stories do you tell with that? And it was cool. It was cool. I wasn't reading myself, but I'm reading the NYX book right now.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Have you reading that one?
It's good. It's not my favorite of the current X-Men titles, but I do pick it up and read it.
I think I'm reading it because Laura Kinney's in it.
Oh yeah, she's great.
That's kind of the only reason I'm reading it.
Yeah, I like her in it.
But yeah, that's a really nice cover, man. I like that one. X-Men has really like kind of had a regenesis lately, and it's cool to see like people like just appreciating X-Men again.
Right.
Like, do you remember that?
Who did your Action Comics cover?
Oh, that's a good question. Why did I even think about that?
I'm gonna try to give credit to the
like look at me over here asking all these questions. Don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're cool.
All right, the cover artists are Eddie Barrows, Danny Miki, and I will do my best with this name. Tamu Mori. So yeah, those are the cover artists on that one there. They did a fantastic job with that.
Yeah, they did. And I think this one was Pepe Larraz and Marte Garcia.
I've heard of Pepe Larraz. They do good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Are we already on to number 2? Oh,
yes,
good
sir.
Lord. My number 2 already?
Goes a lot quicker when it's just you and I.
Yeah, I know, right? So my next book is, it was kind of harder for me to pick these books than like last year. Like last year was like, it's Detective Comics, obviously. But like this year I was like, what is it? What is the comics, the covers I was like really down for? Had to think about it. And I thought for when I was like, it has to be something Ghost Machine. Because Ghost Machine brought in a lot of like artists and authors, and like let them just go, we'll just let you pop off. Just go crazy. We don't care how long it takes you to draw it. Draw it awesome. And that's what I love to see. And I did Rook number 5. This is This is Jason Fadlock. Here.
I loved his artwork back when he was at DC. He did some phenomenal stuff during New 52, especially.
Oh yeah, like his Doomsday Clock was amazing. He did that. Like that was probably the best part of 3 Jokers.
Yep.
Like his stuff here is just really cool. Like all the covers were awesome, but I chose this one in particular because it's just like, it kind of shows you the dichotomy of the character and how he feels about like his power with the crows, but also he feels it's like kind of a curse. And it's all right there in the cover. Like if you were really try to dig into it, I think it's just really cool. I'll try to get it mostly on screen there. There we go. Yeah. And scarecrows are just kind of creepy and cool looking. So like, how could you not like that? But yeah, like, are you still reading any Ghost Machine?
I think before Ghost Machine really got taken off, I had read that one. What was the one that they like initially started with?
Oh, it was just called Ghost Machine Presents or something.
And then like some of the characters from that universe, though, I had read before they had really taken off with Ghost Machine.
Oh yeah, like Junkyard Joe and
I had read some of Junkyard Joe, and then the comic that it spun out of,
Geiger, I think, or something.
Yes, I remember reading those. They were good. Again, you just got to pick and choose. It's hard to read everything.
Mm-hmm.
From what I hear, though, Ghost Machine, everybody who's reading it's loving it.
Yeah, I would like. That's another thing. I'd love to read all of those books too. I had to pick two. I picked two. I picked Rook
Yeah.
and then Redcoat because I
Okay.
love like alternative styles of history and an immortal soldier that's been around since the Revolutionary War. Love that idea. Actually, very cool.
Yeah.
And again, the art in those books, it's like, God damn it, man. Calm down. Save some like talent for the rest of us for once.
Is that the one? Which one is Jeff Johns writing? Is that one
Both
of
of
those
those
two?
actually.
Both of them?
He's writing Rook and Redcoat.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, like he's doing at least two of the books in there. I think Manipul is doing one. There's a few other ones in there.
No.
But yeah, like Ghost Machine's been awesome. I hope it keeps going. I hope it like we get to see some more stuff out of it. They did a new one recently, Hyde Street. That looks pretty sick.
That's what I was gonna ask. I thought there was a newer one as well.
Yeah, that one's like all about like there's this like evil street where souls are kept and there's like profiteers there who are their whole purpose is to steal other people's souls. Kind of cool. And they went down like the most adjacent little rabbit hole of finding a character. There's a character called Mr. X-Ray in it. Do you remember in old comics where they had those funny ads? It's like X-ray glasses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those. Okay, so they made a character with those glasses in it, and
Nice.
like the ads in it are all like he looks just like the ads. It's very funny to me, and like that is only something you do if you've been reading comics for like 40 years, and I love that.
He's a side character in the book.
He's like one of the main characters.
Okay, is he?
He's one of them. It's it's just called Hyde Street.
Okay,
as far
so
as
there's
I
no
know.
like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type stuff going on in there.
Well, you suppose you could stretch it a little bit. Mr. X-Ray is kind of the Dr. Jekyll who's like doesn't really like what he's doing, but he's doing it because he has to. And then there's this other kid. I think his name's Jokey. He looks like Pranky. That's his name. Pranky is like a little Boy Scout with the like the Johnny Crockett hat or whatever that's called.
David Crockett.
And he loves what he's doing. He's very evil and loves taking all those souls. And so it's all about like a scoreboard thing. And they could have like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing where it's like, I don't want to do this. I love this. Let's keep going. Awesome. So I think, are you doing your next book?
Yep.
Gotcha.
This will be number one.
Number one, everybody. Hang on. Let's hold it. Let's simmer.
Drum roll.
Dun, dun, dun.
Action Comics as well.
Yeah.
This one was 1075. Did you get this issue?
Yes, I did.
That cover just epitomizes who Superman is.
Yeah, that's a
I'm
great
not sure
one.
if it can show up on screen that well, but you got the old school phone booth right here, and then just all around, just everything that makes Superman is like. Got the death of Superman there, Doomsday.
He's out of the phone booth. Oh, that's perfect, man.
Yeah. I thought that was just a very classy cover.
Yeah. Again, Superman's back, baby. My poster doesn't lie.
Absolutely. And then that was Clayton Henry who did that cover right there.
Well done, Clayton. Fantastic work there. You want to know a funny story about that specific issue?
What's that?
So on break at work, I bring a comic book because I'm tired of like just wasting my phone juice. I'm like, I have 30 minutes. I can read one comic book.
Oh yeah.
And so I brought that book with me, and I showcased. I was like, hey, look at this to my coworker. I was like, hey, look at this. Action Comics is at 1,075 issues, and they were like, dude, that could be worth so much money. And I'm like, no.
Why did they think that?
Well, like I think there's a lot of people who still think that like have that 90s mindset where like a book probably like is so much money.
Yeah.
Like because it just exists and it's kind of a big number.
Yeah.
Like no, man. You know how many like books of like Batman 1000 I could buy just right now for like $2?
Yep.
But like it's still really cool to see like there's been like Action Comics has been continually coming out since 1938.
It's crazy.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That's nearly 90 years.
The fact that you and I are sitting here talking about Superman and Action Comics, and
it's fantastic. Like the only there's not many people older than that series now.
Right.
there's no, there's you can't really talk about a whole like person pre that stuff anymore, and it's really cool to see that like I wonder how the creators would think about it if you put them now. Just went like, here, you're in 2025 now.
Movies dropping in July.
You're like the 18th movie about your characters coming out. Everybody's talking about it. There's been over 1,000 issues of the book you started. I wonder how that would feel. It'd be incredibly humbling, but also kind of uncomfortable.
Mind blowing.
I'm glad that people liked it. I guess. Thanks.
Yeah.
But all right, my number one, everybody. My number one. If you've been following me in particular for a while, this isn't going to be much of a surprise to anybody. Why I like this book. The writing in it's fantastic. The art in it is swoon-worthy almost. And the cover, this one in particular, was even better. This is Helen of Windhorn number 2. I believe this is a variant, but this is a fantastic piece of art in by itself.
A beautiful cover.
I know, right? It's like it's got that shine in the title sequence there. It really kind of showcases the character pretty well, like with the swords and the stuff in the background, but also she's like falling down drunk because she's kind of a mess. It showcases everything that this book is, where it's like you have a main character who's a hot mess, but also her granddad's a barbarian, so she's gonna learn how to be a barbarian too. And it's amazing. I think the artist on this one is, let me see if I can find. Oh Lord, please forgive me, everyone. This is a Brazilian name. Bilquis Everly? Bilquis Everly? Or Bilqui Everly? Please forgive me, everyone. And it's just really well done. It's just so pretty looking. It really just kind of shows off that like kind of gothic vibe these are kind of going with. Shows her fashion off. Shows that she's like drinking heavily, even though she but still wants to like swing a sword around. It's just very cool. Like whenever this book comes out, it's one of the first ones I grab, or it's the one I grab last because I wanted to like savor it. And
so that was issue number 2 of the series.
Yes, issue number 2. This one, the funny thing about it is that I like, especially like with a lot of Tom King books, like I have to sit there and like go like, I'm going to sit here and read this because otherwise if I try to skim read this one, I'm not going to get half of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lot more of a slow paced kind of writer. You got to have to sit there and think about that one a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I love this, and the art is the main reason to get this stuff, I think. Like,
does that cover artists do the interior art as well?
Yes, they do. I'll give you a little sample page here.
Oh heck yeah!
Yep. It's one of the rare occasions where like the cover artist does the main stuff too.
I like that.
You don't get that enough, honestly. I wish they'd do more of that. But I understand why. Like
right,
cover artists are a little more expensive.
Right.
So yeah, those are our top 3. Everybody, let's do a quick rundown of all of our ones again here. I'll go first. So first was for me Action Comics number 168, right there. Next was Rook Exodus number 5, and then last, certainly not least, was Helen of Windhorn number 2, right there. I'm kind of glad none of mine were number 1s. It's so easy to grab a number 1 because they always put the most like bodacious covers on them.
Right. And I was trying to think back to like stuff that came out in like January and February.
That was the hardest part.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Now. So
it's so many
hard to go back and reflect like that.
Mm-hmm. So what's your number? Let's go. What were your
numbers? Got Amazing Spider-Man. Issue number 61 was number 3 for me. And then we got X-Men 700 was number 2 for me. And folds out. And then another Action Comics selection here was my number 1 at 1075.
Oh yeah.
Do you think they were doing the weekly Action Comics because do you think they're going to try to drop 1,100 in July when the movie comes out? And they were probably trying to speed the number along, and that's why they did it weekly?
I was not thinking about that. That's ingenious, though. That's a great. Why wouldn't they? That's a great idea.
For sure. And people will be trying to seek that out.
That's like, I did not even pick up on that.
That's just my guess. I don't know.
But... Well, that's a very smart guess right there, I'd say. Tell you what, if it happens,
you heard it here first.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. Someone buy Mark some lunch or something. So those are our top 3 picks for the best covers of 2024. Everybody, if you're feeling so likely, shoot your favorite ones on the Facebook or the Facebook. Oh my God.
They can put it in the group.
Put it in the group.
Yeah.
Put it in the chat if you want. And just let us know. We're always looking on there, posting stuff up. And also tell us what your favorite books of 2024 were too. 24 fantastic year for comics. Little to disagree with that year. But now we're on to 2025, and I have a very important question for you, Mark.
What's up?
Before we showcase what we were reading, we both grabbed a couple books to showcase like what we're reading now.
Yeah.
What do you hope to see in comics in 2025?
Man. I think right now for me, like I feel like DC is really on track, and I don't care about a Marvel versus DC type thing. I just like good comics. I like indie comics. I'm gonna try to just do my indies in trades so that I don't get carried away and get like 20 books every single week and drop $100 at the comic shop, which I'm sure they love. But
they probably love that.
Yeah, if you can do that, that's great. But yeah, I'm just trying to go trade more for indies. But Marvel and DC, I just like those like iconic superheroes right now, like Spider-Man, Superman, Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, DC I feel like is on track right now. I don't know, man, and I hate being negative, but I guess like some of the Marvel stuff I'm reading, I feel like Disney has influenced a lot of the comics and the way that the direction they're going in, and I'd kind of like to see that. And not so much like if there's a movie coming out, like Captain America's new book came out today, Sam Wilson. Nothing wrong with that coming out today. I just mean like a lot of the characterizations in the comics themselves. Just Disney seems like they kind of muddled up.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm not trying to hate, but I'm just not enjoying some of that with Marvel.
No, I 100% like it. And that's completely valid, man. Like we were talking about a little bit of that in the last stream where I was like, so if like the 90s was like, if you had like to define the 90s in comics, would you like it was like the year of extremes, the years of extreme stuff and stuff like that, right?
Pouches, guns.
And then Tom said in 2000 it was the year of decompression storytelling. The years that like that was the decade of that, and I brought up the idea of like, and we kind of struggled about 2010s a little bit, and I thought of like maybe it was the years of synergy with the movies because the movies were coming out and like. Rest assured, if insert like when Shang-Chi was getting a movie, Shang-Chi got a book. And not wrong with that. It's just good business.
No.
And good for Shang-Chi. He's a cool character. More books is more than welcome.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree with like some of that though, where it was some of the changes like are like you just did that because the movie did that.
Right.
And I doubt the author really wanted to do that, so they had to find a roundabout way to do it.
A lot of it seems like they're restricted. Like there's a lot of like you got to do this with the book and you got to do that with the book and make sure this is rather than just having the creative storytelling, which I like continuity. I don't like when they don't honor continuity.
Oh my God, I'm such a fiend for it. I'm like a little too into it. It's like, don't you remember that one thing from 1989? It's like, no, we don't. No, we don't. It's like, okay. Like you weren't even born yet. I'm like, shut up. I'm like, okay. I'll give like the example I always use for that is like Miss Marvel was a cool and like probably the one thing about the Inhumans anybody cared about. And now you made her a mutant.
Yeah. See that she didn't have to be a mutant. She could stand on her own.
Yeah, and like that was the kind of I totally see where you're coming from. Like, just let the comics be comics, baby.
Yeah.
We're gonna be around. We're not like and those movies are gonna keep existing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally get it.
I see nothing wrong though with like you got a movie coming out. Nothing wrong with pushing a certain character's book because the movie is coming out. That's cool.
Yeah, I love that. Like I'll give you a good example since I gave you a bad example. When Moon Knight TV show was coming out, they dropped the Moon Knight book in 2022.
Seems like he had like 3 books going at that point.
He does now.
Yeah.
That Moon Knight book ran for 30 issues.
And good run for Moon Knight.
And was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I've read every single issue of Moon Knight since 2022.
Wow.
Every single one. And it's kind of a pain right now because there's 3 books. But that book was amazing, and they kept going with it because it kept doing well. That was like it felt like it for once they kind of let the character kind of like grow and do his own thing for once, and not like fully entrench him in like continuity that was set 1978 or whenever he was created. It was awesome to see. So like because of that TV show, we got a really awesome run that is still kind of going, even though it's just a new book now.
Isn't it someone else who has taken up the mantle though a few times so they could tell new stories? I'm not I don't read it currently.
No, basically, well, yes and no.
Okay,
that's the way to say it. Basically, it's Moon Knight at the end of. I mean, spoiler, but that book came out like a couple months ago. Guys, you should kind of keep up on it. He dies at the end of the 30-issue run.
Oh, okay.
And then they came out with one of them called Vengeance of Moon Knight.
Yeah,
which is all about like the people that he brought with him into this new like midnight mission.
No, trying to like Spectre.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Spectre still.
Okay.
Like he like bringing them all in, them like trying to like keep his legacy going. And at the end of that run, he's resurrected.
Okay.
And so then in this newest one, Moon Knight is back. But while it's also happening, his brother in Khonshu, Hunter's Moon, is also around. So there's 2 Moon Knights now.
Okay.
Yeah. And Hunter's Moon's a cool character. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
So like there's good and bad to like trying to synergize with the movies. So I totally see where you're coming from, man.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. I'm glad that like last year, I think when we were doing this, like what thing do you want to see out of comics more? I'm like, Marvel needs better paper. Is the thing I said. I said they need to like get better paper quality.
At one time, I remember might be 5, 6, maybe longer years ago. I remember like if you held the book in your hand, it would like melt the cover almost. I think they got away from that. I'm pretty sure that was Marvel.
All of a sudden, everybody's looking like they've been fingerprinted by the police over here or something.
Yeah. I think they have better quality paper.
Thank God, at least. At least we're not there. Okay, maybe I should count my blessings then. So I guess for me, I would love to see a little bit more of like, I guess I'm going to kind of piggyback off you a little bit here. I think what I would love to see is just comics kind of knowing that like they can try to ride trends all they want, but they know that there's like, if they just put out good, cool books, people are going to read them.
Yeah.
Like it's you don't have to like focus on like shimmery covers, or you don't have to focus on like making this brand new character for speculators to come out and get. Like you can just like make something cool for people, and that can be at Marvel and DC or independent books. Like I do think Ghost Machine is really cool, and there's some really cool characters that I'd love to see in other places and like come out in other books too. So I think a little more of what we're honestly doing. There's books about characters I would never have thought that books were going to come out of. I just bought a Captain Atom book today. Would never thought I would do that. You got that too?
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah, man. Mine will be coming in a couple days. I buy them.
Oh, okay. That's like the only book I've read so far.
Oh yeah, was it good? Did you like it?
I thought it was okay. I don't think it's for me, but I think you might love it though.
Okay, all right. I love it. Hell yeah, man.
It's gonna be 6 issues.
Yeah, I love a 6-issue mini. It's
yeah.
like, hey, we're done. I can.
I think I can show the cover here.
Oh yeah, please do.
But you can keep on talking too about what you were saying.
But yeah, so I think I just like I think there's a lot of people out there. Yeah, that's a nice ass cover right there.
Yeah.
I think one if we can just like there's gonna be people out there like you're not gonna get like I don't know 40,000 people to read a Tigra book, but I can guarantee you there's gonna be enough people out there who are gonna dig that book and be really thrilled that there's a Tigra book out there or something.
I think if you do it with quality, though, that's how you get people to become Tigra fans.
Yeah, it's the whole reason I became a Moon Knight fan. He looked cool, and I started reading something, and I'm like, oh, this guy's really sick. Actually, I like this. And then I never stopped reading Moon Knight.
No,
it's really I think if they keep doing that, 2025 is gonna be even better.
Yeah.
All right. So even though we were just talking about 2025, we're gonna roll on back to talk about the books we got in 2024 or today even, because I'm doing ones from 2024 and 2005. So
have you got any 2025 books yet?
Literally, I bought them today.
Okay.
And they're coming in in like a couple days when they ship.
Okay, gotcha.
So let's start with you. What books did you read and that you were digging?
Oh yeah, man. I was just gonna talk about that one actually because it's the only one I have read, but it's the Justice League, the Atom Project. Main reason I got it, at first I thought it was just gonna be a one shot because it
feels like a one shot, wouldn't it be?
What's that?
It feels like a one shot, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, but it is gonna be a series, but just 6 issues. But since I'm picking up Justice League, I wasn't for sure if I would need to pick this up, kind of like X-Men, how like you kind of gotta. You don't have to read all the X-Men books, but it does kind of enhance all the stories because those books kind of speak to one another.
Are you an X-Men Gold fan or an X-Men Blue fan kind of thing?
Right. And X-Men Red, they all tied in basically. But Justice League, the Atom Project, this is tying in with Justice League because pretty much all the superheroes in DC are all part of the Justice League. That's the way they're doing it right now. I don't think this is like going to be mandatory reading to understand Justice League, but I think it would enhance because have you read any of the new Justice League at all?
Yeah, I read the first issue so far.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun.
A lot of different avenues that all the heroes are like working towards, which I think is really cool.
It's very like they went to the we're a community of superheroes now, and I think that's really sick. I love that.
Yeah, like even Challengers of the Unknown have a book.
Oh my
I didn't
God,
pick it up.
Insane. Challengers of Unknown's getting a book. I'm like,
yeah, but they're part of the Justice League, and it's these little side stories are just like you would like. It would be hard to put this into Justice League and let them shine. So it kind of just gives them an avenue to, if you really love Captain Atom, here you can pick this up and get your Captain Atom on. I don't think I'm that hardcore of a fan though that I'd want to continue on with this, but this is good though. It's nothing wrong with it at all.
Hell yeah, man! Like, are you also reading the Jenny Sparks book?
No, I haven't been reading that one.
Okay,
it's like a British hero.
Did you never read The Authority? Okay, well, basically, long story short, like the Authority are basically kind of like the Justice League styled characters that were made in the Wildstorm universe.
That's right.
Jenny Sparks is a character that her whole thing is that she was born in 1900 and she's going to live 100 years. She's the spirit of the 20th century. And she has lightning powers too, because, why not? And her whole thing was that she was going to stop bad people like globally. And then she made the Authority in there, and she's basically the leader of the Authority. And they resurrect her for this book here. So she's in the 21st century now. And the Captain Atom has went insane. And it kind of like the book kind of showcases how dangerous of a character he could be if he decided to be.
Okay.
Yeah, like it really kind of goes into the idea of like if a character with that much power did break, how scary would it be?
Yeah.
How could you solve it? And like that's what Jenny Sparks has to deal with. And like it's kind of cool to see that Captain Atom
kind of like raged out, or he's kind of like a jerk in the DC universe a little bit now.
Well, like for a long time, he was just like a government patsy, wasn't he?
I think so.
And
I like this. He had a New 52 run that started off pretty good.
I like most of my Captain Atom knowledge is just from the animated TV show.
Yep.
And that's what I really kind of took from it. But I think so I'm like reading Captain Atom for the first time actually now.
Cool.
But like from what I've like perceived, he's just kind of like I'd really love just to be a regular human other than a
Yeah.
living bomb. Would love that.
Yeah.
But they kind of like, and I think he's the inspiration for Dr. Manhattan. I think he is, question mark.
I could see that.
And so this book kind of leans into that a little bit, where he's like quietly very insane in this book. And they go like, if he was to be that, because it's very not canon.
Yeah.
It goes like he just like holds a bar hostage and goes like, give me another drink. I'm just gonna burn it, but you give me another one because I feel like it. And then he like just switches from wearing a tux to his suit to naked to just whenever he wants to. And it's very Tom King's writing it, so I'm reading it. But
oh yeah,
it's good. Definitely not going to be the one you're reading, not the same Captain Atom.
Yeah. I think this might be trying to get him more to like, and I could be wrong, but the way this ends, like you were kind of saying that he kind of wants just to be a normal guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is like maybe going to restore him more to like a superhero.
That's probably for the best. If the only like probably for the best that they still have like a book where it's like, he's just a nice guy, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. I can't wait to read it, man. It'll
stick with it to the end.
Oh yeah.
Do you think you will when you?
Oh, I'll probably dig the hell out of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's got a cool name to it, The Atom Project. Let's go. It'll just add more to if you want to go back to this like time period of DC in like 5 years. Like, God, that was a really fun time. I want to go back and read that. You can get a little bite-sized bit of it where it's not just the main book. That's kind of a cool part of it. So my next book here is going to be, I read this morning actually, Absolute Batman 3.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, this book, I think this book was trying to do something. Mark, this book was trying to do something.
Every issue.
This book was trying to convince this Batman who doesn't have money that money would make him better. Come on. And you know what's going to happen. He's going to reject that money. But it makes a very good case for him to take it. And he struggles with it. He talks to his mom about it. And he goes like, I don't know, like money talks in this world. Maybe I could actually solve more by letting a little evil in, even though if it's completely against my morals here. And, at the end of the book, he has a decision. I'll let for people to read that. But it was really good read, and it like kind of showcases like the thought process of somebody pretty well.
Yeah.
And like who'd have to go through that. Like if you're that efficient, imagine if you had money also. Yeah. It's kind of cool, but we know what's going to happen. He's going to reject that money.
Yeah.
And shout out for Bibbo Bibowski. You know that character, right?
What was his name?
Bibbo Bibowski.
I don't think so.
Okay. He's in the 90s. He was a Superman character. He wore a hat. He was a big dude who always called him Superman.
Maybe if I saw him. Was he part of the Superman animated series?
I think he was. I never actually watched it.
There.
But like he was just like a big dude who like loved Superman and like was kind of a brawler kind of guy. In this book, he's fighting Black Mask, and he's like supposed to be like the biggest, toughest MMA fighter ever, and Black Mask just like ruins him in this book, and his whole purpose is just be ruined. And like poor Bibbo, all that guy did was exist.
Yeah.
But fun book, loved that.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's your next book, Mr. Mark?
I was reading this one whenever we started the stream. I hadn't finished it yet, but I was reading this one, Deadpool and Wolverine. For anybody watching that lives in South Dakota, it takes place in South Dakota, this issue, which was pretty cool. But
I love that.
Yeah, but I feel like if you liked the movie, this is like just totally capitalizing on the movie. Deadpool just being crazy, Wolverine being more serious, more the tough guy, and just tons of action. Haven't finished the issue yet, but I think there is supposed to be a villain teased, and I don't know if we find out who that villain is by the end of it yet or not. But I really enjoyed it though. When I was reading, it was good.
Is this not the Wolverine Deadpool World War III?
No, that was only 3 issues and it ended. This, to my knowledge, this is like an ongoing with no end in sight.
Oh wow! Man, that movie, as much as like that movie was, I didn't love it as much as everybody else did. I might
Yeah.
be crucified for that, but it was
Appreciate your honesty.
yeah, that was it was a lot of fun. I could totally see why people love that duo. So
I
much.
loved it.
It's like and I bet that book it's perfect like buddy cop material. It's like Deadpool's being so silly and half the time, and I imagine that Wolverine's like, "Can you just shut up? We got things to do here." That's I bet who do you think's the villain's going to be? What was your guess? Since you're so on point with your predictions tonight.
I don't know, because he melts somebody's face, whoever it is. Spoiler alert, but somebody's face gets melted at that point. They open like a casket and he's in there, but they don't reveal who it is. Like I said, I don't know. They may reveal it at the end, but I have no idea, honestly.
Maybe
building.
Maybe it's like who's like a character who's like kind of similar to both, who does messes with those lives. Maybe it's like Dr. Cornelius from Weapon X or something.
It could be.
I mean, maybe it's Romulus. Do you remember Romulus?
Yeah.
Maybe it's him. Maybe they're bringing him back.
Very much could be.
Probably not. They're not going to bring Romulus back.
Could be someone from the movie too, but I can't think of anybody that has.
Maybe the Cassandra Nova. We're gonna her back.
That is a possibility. That would actually be cool.
Yeah. I can't. Sometimes I think about it, like when she's like messing in their heads with their fingers. I'm like, ooh, don't want that.
Yeah.
Stay away from me. No.
Yeah.
That is like, oh, you're making a horror movie there. Don't like that.
Nope.
Awesome. So my next pick here is actually one that, like, you ever just kind of go to like a bookstore randomly, like a nondescript kind of local one, and you just go buy a random comic. You have no idea where it came from, but it's like oddly really awesome. That book is this one right here, Thriller, by Rick Spears and Rob G.
Okay, I mean, you posted about that.
Yeah, I posted about this. Yeah. I just want to know if anybody knew about this book. It was like, what? Did anybody know about this guy? It's basically like a lost chapter of Sin City, and it's black and white. I'll see if I can. I gotta find a page I can show. Honestly, like this is all right, I guess. Like this is the kind of art you're gonna see in there. It's like all black and white with red is the one color. And it's basically like a crime noir story where a guy's framed for a murder that he didn't commit, and he's got to find a way around it to like get back at the person who did frame him. And like the whole time he's like, I don't exist. I'm a background character in everybody else's story. But by the end, oh my God, how did I end up getting the main character role here all of a sudden? And every piece of this story you can predict. If you've seen any detective stories out there, but is it still cool? And does the art make up for it? Absolutely, it does. Like he's there with the femme fatale character right there. Like you never get his name. He's just John Doe. And like the only like snippet of his past you get is that he was in the war. So that's like it gives him an excuse for being able to punch people well. And it's just really cool. It's a very fun, like pulp noir story. I loved it. I'm so glad I picked that up 10 years ago and refound it again. And the nice part about it, it's like 15 minutes to read. Very quick, very smooth, very easy breezy read. And I don't know. I'm determined to know who else has read this book.
So something you picked up a while back and then you just recently picked it up and read it?
I gave it to a friend and then he just returned it back to me 4 years later.
Okay.
As that happens sometimes.
Yeah. You're lucky to have gotten it back.
Yeah, honestly. I told him I won't give him Uzumaki back unless he gives it to me. You ever read that? Japanese manga. They made a Netflix show about it. Pretty good.
Okay.
It's all about like the horrors of spirals and what spirals could possibly turn into.
Cool.
But that, like I told him, you got to find that and give it back to me, and so then you get Uzumaki back. But this, I just want to know if anybody's read this before, because I love this, and I wish more people would find a way to get this. Right there. So yeah, that's my other book for you right there.
Cool.
Awesome.
That was all I got to as far as reading, but this was next on the stack that I'm ready to read. This
Cable? Hell yeah.
Yeah. Looking forward to that.
I love how Cable is just like the last like vestige of some of that 90s stuff. Like he's like still cool, even though he's like exudes all the pockets, extra big guns of the 90s. And he's still there. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that the 90s are still alive a little bit.
Yeah. Awesome. They did I think one run of Cable a couple of years ago. He was like a younger version of Cable.
Yeah, that was I remember that. Like for like 2 years, we just had a young Cable, like an 18-year-old Cable, and then they were like, I'm lovely we committed to this, but also like
that ain't Cable.
Bring back like 35-year-old Cable. Come on.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be a weird family reunion. It's like, hey Dad, I'm like also your same age. We're all like 30 here. None of us have aged in like 40 years. What's up?
Time travel.
Yeah, the Summers family is just a mess. I love it.
Yeah.
But all right, everybody. We're gonna, Mark, I have a great idea.
What's up?
For us here, since it's just us, let's create a new outro for ourselves. We'll do your bagging and boarding for sure.
Yeah.
But since I utterly fail at every outro I ever do, we're gonna make one for me. Here it's like, everybody, let's keep it comics out there. Reading all the fantastic books. Have a happy new year. Keep killing it out there. And we're gonna swing it back to Mark for the
bagging and boarding's never boring.
And now for the outro.
Our Comic Book Club, your weekly TV show on comic book culture.